different rates of fertilizer application, and not only what that does to yield, but what that does to the environment. The premise is that you will reach, no matter what you farm, you will reach an optimum amount of nitrogen fertilization for your soil. So let's just say that that might be 150. So we're looking at, okay, what does the yield do? So how much crop are we making, and what does it do as you increase fertilization? And after you reach a certain point, which is called the yield optimum, what we see here is no matter how much more fertilizer you put on, it's either plateaued or you actually see a decrease in yield. Okay, so you get this graph that kind of looks like this. Okay, now, so we're coupling that along with the environmental aspect, and so we're looking at greenhouse gases, and that's what these chambers do here. We're analyzing all day long, every day that it's working. We analyze for CO2, we analyze for methane, and we analyze for nitrous oxide, which is N2O. But CO2, let's just say, CO2 has a global warming potential of 1. N2O has a global warming potential of 300. So it's 300 times the effectiveness in the atmosphere than CO2 is. However, it's much less prevalent. You might see in the maybe parts per billion coming off the soil right now of N2O, whereas you see parts per million in CO2 coming off. Agricultural sources account for about, 50-some% of the input of N2O into the atmosphere. Today, we're pumping in samples off of each of those chambers out there. It comes in here to this manifold, and we inject it into these things, and then this shoots it off to the instrumentation that analyzes it. This is called a gas chromatograph. And then that result is transferred over here, and this is what it looks like. This peak right here, every time we sample, that's a methane concentration. Every time we sample, that's an N2O concentration. And what you should see when the chambers are closed for N2O, as they're closed, we're sampling 4 times, you should see a concentration that goes like this. Increase, increase, increase. We should see that. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes it's pretty flat, and that just means there's no microbial activity in the soil. But sometimes there is. And then for methane, when things are really cranking, the soil is a sink, so it's taking up methane from the atmosphere. So what you should see is T0, T1, T2, T3. And that's really what we see out here.